we're going to make a constructed response item. I'm on my home page of IO. I'm going to create item. Now I want to choose the constructed response item. You'll see in the preview a constructed response item is one that the student is generating the entire response, and a constructed response item has to be scored by the teacher. So let's create the item. Just like my other question types, I'm going to choose my depth of knowledge. And actually, my depth of knowledge would be probably a strategic thinking and reasoning question. I am going to be writing for this, so that's my claim. Language arts. We'll say this is a second grade question, even though this really isn't. Writing, and I'm going to choose my standard, and my standard is an opinion piece. I'm going to add my standard, so I'm going to go to the next step. All right, now for constructed response items, just like other item types, if you need to add a passage, this is where you do so. Instructions, now you'll see I have two different choices here, text box or text area. This is where I'm going to insert the response box that the student will type in. Text box and text area are the same thing. They just start with different size boxes. If I'm filling in maybe a word or one sentence, I would use a text box. If I'm doing something with a longer expected response, such as for a paragraph, I would do text area. So because we are doing not a real one, this is just for an example, I pulled a would you rather question because those are fun. And you'll see I'm pasting in, would you rather have a completely automated home or a self-driving car? Please explain why. Now, of course, if I was doing this for a student, I would make sure all of my directions to the student are included in this. For instance, if I want them to respond in a paragraph, if I want to add any reminders, like be sure to use proper capitalization or giving them a spelling reminder. If I was doing math, a math question that they were filling in a math equation, or they were explaining some reasoning about math and I needed to have an equation in the beginning part, again, I can use my equation tool. I can use any of these tools here. Now, I do need to add in a text area for them to answer. So I'm going to the plus sign text area or text area with equation. Again, this is a writing question, so I want just a text area. And you'll see here is my text area that my students are going to be able to type into. So this is what it will look like when there is a box. Now I can preview this online. And this looks exactly this is exactly what the students are going to see. When they type, I can make changes. And there's my question. Would you rather have a completely automated home or a self-driving car? Please explain why. Now, again, if I was doing this for real, I would make sure my question was much more thorough. I'm just doing this as an example for you. Now, the rubric portion is important. I do need to put it, even if I don't want to add in, a full rubric, because this allows me to change the point value. If I do not click edit rubric, it will give me a 0 or a 1, so correct or incorrect, basically, as my point value choices. When I edit my rubric, though, I'm able to change my bubble group, which is how many points it's worth. So right now, you'll see it defaulted to 3 points possible, and I'm able to choose 0, 1, 2, or 3. If I click this bubble group, now you'll see it gives me lots of different choices. I can give it a 0, 1. I can give it all the way up to 20 points. Then there are some other options starting with 4. These options right here leave out 0. Those go in reverse. Now, I'm going to make sure that I choose however many points I do want it to be worth. Much of our writing is based on a 1 through 4 scale, so I might be choosing that. But again, when you're creating your own item, you can set the point value. So I'm going to make this one worth 4 points. You'll see that it changes. It gives you a note. You must click Save Rubric in order for the rubric to be saved. Now, here are the explanation items for the rubric. If you are making this for a grade level team or other people, you might want to put in a qualifier for what answer you're looking for. You're looking for completeness, the certain number of sentences, or certain elements of the answer. However, if you're making it for yourself, you are going to be the one scoring the item. So if it's an item that you already know how you'd be scoring it, you don't necessarily have to type anything in. Again, the teacher that scores the constructed response item is the only one that will see this. So I've updated my rubric and saved, and you'll see there are my options. Again, I'm going to preview online. It's ready to go, and I would click Save and Finish. Just like all of the other items, this is going to generate a question ID number. This question ID number is the number that I would want to save, either by jotting down or pasting in another document, so that when I create the test with this item, I will be able to find and add the item easily, right? That is how you create a constructed response item. And just a reminder, a constructed response item is one that is not auto-scored by the test and has to be scored by a teacher, by a human, after the students are done taking the test, right? Thank you.